It's interesting looking at the parallels, of course, because there were some people agitating to remove John Major at the time. Of course, he took the initiative to do the put up or shut up election just 3 or 4 years into his premiership. And yet this time around, it doesn't seem like that is being entertained. Liz Truss has been Prime Minister for 39 days, just 39 days. And yet backbench Conservatives are seriously talking about removing her. Is this something that could possibly happen?
I don't see how it happens constitutionally. It would obviously require the overwhelming support of all the MPs and of the membership and the board, because we have a clear constitutional position. We have just elected a new leader. That leader had majority support of the party in the country and also had secured majority support of the MPs by the time the membership campaign finished. And I think the party should give her full support and let her roll out her complete plans. I think what's odd about this debate we're having at the moment is that people are taking a set of tax proposals as the whole economic plan. We haven't yet seen the spending side of the budget. We haven't seen the borrowing consequences. We haven't seen what the economic projections might look like. We haven't seen all of the measures that are clearly needed to have a proper growth strategy. The investment partnerships, the changes of regulation, the support for given industry groups, the wish to have more of our own food, the wish to produce more of our own energy, they all require a series of policies. So I would say to my colleagues, by all means, encourage the government to get all those plans out as quickly as possible, and then we can have a proper debate about their impact and about whether we like them all or not.
It's interesting. 2 weeks is the time we need to wait until that 31st of October medium-term fiscal statement. And we understand from Number 10 that there will be a number of supply-side reforms announced before then, and some supply-side reforms also announced within that statement too. I suppose looking at the context of everything, those will be very important for the markets to see whether or not the markets believe, number one, that it's possible to get through, for example, planning reform or migration reform or childcare reform or all these other different reforms that we're expecting. But also, if the markets do believe that they're possible, potentially that's something that might placate them.
Well, of course, and the markets like as much certainty as possible, but they have to live in a very uncertain world. Of course, the government needs to get a lot more information out there, and I do think that the government needs to produce the spending side as well as the tax side, and it then needs to have some credible forecasts of what is likely to happen. The truth is that there is no good option from here because we are facing a global slowdown or recession. We're seeing a trend to higher interest rates, higher mortgage rates and lower bond prices around the advanced world as central banks seek to correct the mistakes they made in 2021 when they were too loose for too long and triggered big inflation. So there has to be some adjustment to that. And so the truth is that we either end up borrowing more to do a package along the lines the government wants to do, which is to offset some of the recessionary forces and not take such a big hit. Or we borrow even more than that because we put taxes up and we make the recession worse, longer and deeper, and then you will have an even bigger deficit. So people entering this debate about the deficit and the borrowing need to be realistic. We are going to borrow more this year, whatever happens. And the argument is how much of the money should be used to offset the recessionary forces which are very strong globally and also have been unleashed in the UK by the Bank of England's policy.